Hey everyone, what's up? It's Patrick, aka Clown here, and today we will be talking about what is the best class to pick during early alpha access in Rose Online. So I'm gonna say right now, I won't be showing any passive trees or skill points or whatever because I don't have them. I'm not an alpha tester. I'm just a guy that played Evo. I love the game, and I just want to tell you guys like, hey, what's up? What's good to level with? And you know, that's basically it. If you want more detailed stuff, probably later this month, I'll tell you more about every class that I know that I play and give you my opinion. But right now, I'll just be talking about leveling, like what's good. Um, if you want to do some chores at the back, that's fine. You can just keep on your headphones if you have wireless ones. Put me on speaker, that's fine. Do some chores, listen to me rambling, and maybe you'll pick up some stuff like, hey, okay, that's really what I want to do if you're new to the Rose online game. And otherwise, everything's all good. So first class, you can pick up 4 classes at the start at level 10. You pick a soldier, muse, hawker, dealer. What you want, listen to me, like what the second job class is, because that's the most important in my opinion. Because honestly, from level 10 to level 100, from like 100, you can pick up your second class. It's not that large. It's not, doesn't affect that much. What's good to know is you cannot change your class once you've picked it. So once you've picked a soldier, you can go to a dealer, etc., etc. And if you picked up your second job class, say like you're a soldier, you went to a champion, you can't suddenly pick up a knight afterwards. You have to stay at one class. What you can do is you can change your skill points for free now. For at least early access, from what I've heard and what I've read, they will stay free. Maybe we'll change it after 2 months, 3 months. But right now they're free. So if you build into something you don't like, you can still change a lot for free. So that's good to know. Afterwards, it will probably cost some Zuli. So you have to save up some, right? So to start, let's go over soldier first. So soldiers are melee class, really good at tanking, doing AoE damage. Honestly, there are some differences, but I'll tell you all about it. At the start at level 10, if you go soldier, I recommend going to full damage AoE first. That's the most necessary for leveling. It's the best, it's the fastest. You're most useful for those AoE damages. Once you go into a knight class, which is the 10 class, you can of course change your skills for free. So afterwards you can pick up more skilled tank points, but to start I recommend going damage. That's by far the best in my opinion. So let's go over knights first. Knights are a pretty good tank class. They're actually the best tank class in game in my opinion. They're really good at tanking physical damage. They even have some magic death like passives, but they're not the greatest at tanking magical defense. You really need some gear for that. They're mostly like the passives are built around like blocking skills, blocking just some damage, but they're not the best for leveling. I'm seeing it right now. They're good at tanking, but at the start you just don't need that tankiness. Later game you will, so knight's always useful, but you don't need 5 knights in a group. It's not the most useful one. So if you want to go knight, hey, great, but at the start I recommend go champion first. At least in one party, a knight's great. It's always good. You can draw away enemies. You can even go into a crossbow knight, so you can attack enemies from afar, but you don't have that many great passives or skills for that for crossbow, in my opinion. So I prefer the sword, but you won't be attacking from a distance then. Downside, can't really like move. You're not really mobile as a champion, which most classes aren't, but like I mean a knight. So you're a target, but at least you can tank a lot, so that's great. So I do recommend going the tanky route once you go a knight. Attacking, it's just not the best to start. Once you go a knight, maybe later when there's a lot of knights around, you want to be more specialized, it's fine. But knights basically just tanking, large HP pool, that's basically it. Champions are decent tanks. They're not the best, of course, because you're not wearing a shield anymore. You'll be wearing two-handed weapons, only two-handed weapons actually. You can pick between an axe, 2H sword, or a spear. I recommend not going axe. It's horrible actually. You don't have any AoE damage. Low accuracy in my opinion. High crits, that's all. Not good PvP. Not great PVM, honestly. Maybe some kings are good to attack it with. Most kings have like high physical defense, so you know, it's just not a great weapon to use. Swords are by far the most balanced. Great single targets, great AoE. No, well, not like perfect AoE, perfect single, but they're all balanced. Some nice skills to have, great to level with, because you have some AoE, but for leveling, I recommend going a spare. The whole reason is you have a higher AoE range with a spare. You will have more AoE. You'll attack faster. And you can always change into a sword and axe if you'd like. But for leveling, spares are by far the best to go with. So you'll be seeing a lot of them. But they're just great damage. Can tank a little bit. Sword spares, fine either way. Just don't troll, don't go axe at the start. It's not great, so I don't recommend that. Again, champions, they don't have any range, so this is one of the few classes that don't have a ranged weapon. So you will, if you get like slowed, it's gonna be frustrating, but they're still really good in my opinion. So champions, nothing wrong with it. Okay, Muse. Muses can be used as a support character or damage dealer. Supports go into the clerics and damage dealers go into the mage. Clerics can be damage dealers, but that's more of an end game build. Don't build a support. Don't build a damage dealing cleric at the start. That's just trolling, in my opinion. You're not doing any service. You're good for heals. You're good for buffs. Recovering allies. That's all fine. But damage dealing is not one of your strong suits at the start of the game. You just don't have the right items for them. It's all single target damage. Let the mages do it. Okay? Don't troll. Just don't troll at all. That's what I recommend. I think it's a troll to go Battle Cleric at the start. Do Battle Cleric at the end of the game. That's fine. Once you hit to 50, start. Just make sure to put in your points on the health buffs, the buffs like normal buffs. You don't have all buffs anymore. Unfortunately, they changed that. It's a good change. Every class is viable with buffing now, so you'll see a lot of like buff slaves at the end of the game with like every character is a buff slave. But yeah, Cleric just got a bit nerfed, but it was necessary in my opinion. It's just a more healthy game. You can still heal. Heal is very important. You need like 2 clerics in a party of 10, so clerics are always needed. It's just not great at dealing damage at the start. Summons are basically trolls in my opinion. They're not really that great. Maybe for a support cleric here and there if you want to tank some, but honestly, you're kind of slow. You'll be taking a lot of hits unless you build like a specialized cleric, but still healing, you're great at it, so you can probably like out heal every single character that attacks you, so that's great. Mages are really good in my opinion, especially for leveling. A lot of mobs are weak to magic damage, so mages are really good with AoE. You can just press F1, F2, F3, F4, and you just spin around, kill everything. You can watch a movie while doing it. People will just heal you up. You're always necessary. Mages are always necessary, especially during leveling. Late game, you kind of fall off in my opinion. You're good for debuffing. Single target damage still great, but you're kind of a class cannon. Unless you got like the best items in the game, that's all good, but mostly you will be a class cannon, so make sure to know that. You're good for like help dealing AoE damage at the late game. Some PvP stuff, good like debuffs, that's all good, but leveling, you're a great character. So if you want a party, if 2 characters, mage is always needed, so you can always like tag along with another character maybe if it's okay for your party. Just know mages are okay. Just you're gonna be slow. You're not going to tank as much. That's basically it. But still good. Still good. You can heal, even heal some. Next is Hawkers. Hawkers are probably the most popular class to play. Right? You have like bow, or you have katanas, or like one-handed swords, like dual swords. Pretty cool character. But here comes the big but. Leveling, honestly, you're kind of useless in my opinion. You can drag along some mobs, but you probably want to level in or like areas where it's good to level at instead of like having to pull mobs 24/7, because most people just want to AFK while leveling because it gets boring after a while, like most games, unfortunately. So raiders, they're they're good. They're still good. They're great characters, PvP, PvM at the end game. But our early game, you want to level as a Hawker as a like a dual swords character, because you can AoE. You still have some AoEs, not a lot, but you still have some, and they're okay. Just don't go like Tar Raider at the start, or like immediately Bow Hawker, because you can just like change your stats right at level 100. The scouts, they don't have AoE, or like not great AoE, so it would just be trolling around like doing nothing. Like most scouts, unfortunately, at the start, they're useless, and they know it, but they're pretending to be not. And it's all fun if there's room, but if you want to level efficiently, you'd probably want to build like first a 2H, dual sword character. At 100 you can change, of course. You'll be less useful. You can still pull some mobs, but please, as a raider, just go swords at the start until 250. For leveling afterwards, it's fine to change back to Qatar, because honestly, we all know Qatar is better, right? But for AoE damage, you're going to be useful with the dual swords. So that's my recommendations. Raiders, like I said, really good, can cloak up fast as fuck even. Just not a lot of AoE damage at the end. You're going to fall off pretty much. Still great damage, great tanking ability. You can cloak away, you can stun some people, you can slow them a bit. That's all cool and stuff. You can be annoying. They're great at being annoying. They're all around actually probably the best character to play, except you're just single target damage. That's it. So yeah, that's pretty good. Then we go to scouts, my favorite class in game. PvP, PvM, maybe they're great now, but back then there were just PvP characters. High crit chance, crit damage, shooting from the back line, and yeah, just have some decent defense as well. So that's pretty good. You're fast as well. You can use crossbows to be tanky, but crossbows are troll in my opinion, so just stay with the normal longbow. Just like I mentioned here in the weapons thing, just realized that was there. But you're really good at long range, right? So that's good. It's just no real AoE. And you're not as fast as an attack speed character as a raider, but you're still really good at single target damage. So again, great PvP. PvM, probably not so much. But for leveling, you're not really useful. So be aware that you most likely, at the later stages, if you're not leveling with friends, you're probably not going to get picked up by a party quickly if they're looking for like AoEs. But don't let that discourage you. Scouts are still fun to play. Just know it's less bit useful in leveling. Dealers. Dealers are the last of the four first jobs, but not the most useless, actually. Dealers are crafters or AoE farmers, like PvM farmers. You can do PvP, but in my opinion, all the other characters are better in PvP. So this is more of a, just say, if you go Bourg, you're PvM. If you go Artisan, you're probably going to craft, because there are better characters out there for all the stuff that you're looking for. If you start dealer, you can immediately go crafting, but you would have to craft pretty accurately and successfully for your party, in my opinion, to be like actually useful. You can sound like, hey, I will pay you some money from like the profits we make, or hey, I will craft you some items that you need later on, because you know you always need a crafter for that, because there are some face masks or back pieces that you want from your crafter, or some arrows or whatever that you cannot get from a trader. So that's good to know. But It's a big but. Artisans are just kind of useless during leveling. They are. That's the second job of a dealer. Artisans, you can craft, but I feel like people would pick it as a second character, and you would most likely not get picked up that quickly by people because, like, hey, you want to deal damage, you want to level fast, that's fine. But hey, people always need you. So if you want to make some money, go artisan. Bourgs right here. You can go gun or launcher, but let's not kid ourselves. Gun Bourgs are trash. You want to go launcher because you can AoE. You have a great passive that allows you to sell stuff to vendors for more money, so you make faster money than everyone else. And you have a passive that allows you to get more drops, higher drop chance. So that's definitely good for a Bourg. I would definitely pick it up in my opinion. And, you know, basically Bourgs are the best farmers. The one downside that a Bourg has, in my opinion, with PvM, is I'm not even going to talk about PvP anymore with these characters. PvM-wise, you have to select your target for an AoE damage. They're great at AoE, they're really strong, crit high, great. But you have to select everything manually. Or like keybind, that's fine. But no, if you put it on a keybind target enemy, and your party just killed every mob around you, it will select a mob further away. So you can drag out your safety of the clerics, and you just get like one shot because you're kind of a glass cannon, right? You're not that great at tanking damage. You're actually a really big glass cannon. So be in mind of that. If you want to AFK AoE, I wouldn't pick a Bourg, but they're still really great. Best PvMers, a lot of people are going Bourg. Honestly, a lot of people are going Bourg because they realize it's kind of OP for farming at the start if you want to make the fastest cash. Some people might get lucky and get a unique. So if you get lucky, be sure to PM me because I like uniques. I love them. They're really great. So, you know, that's all good. Bourgs, best farmers for materials. Really great, always necessary. Most people will go Bourg for farming at the end of the game. Of course, I will talk about everything more else, like in depth by going skill trees, like what's the best thing to build, best passives, and stats wise and gear wise. That's all fun, but for now, we're leveling. Let's go over it again. Champions, mages, and Bourgs are the best AoE damage by far. So for AoE, those three classes are going to be selected. For knights, one knight's fine for a party, but you don't need 2, 3, 4 knights. They're more useful at the end of the game. So as your second character, that's fine. But if you want to beat 250 really fast, just don't go a knight because people, unless they're your friends, of course, will probably not pick you up. With the Muse, clerics are always necessary, mages are always necessary. So at least 2 clerics per party because you need to tank a lot at the end of the game. So be really useful. So make sure to pick cleric, you know. I know it's a bit nerfed, but they're still needed, and people will need you, will invite you if they don't have any clerics. Because you're not gonna AoE farm anything if you don't have any heals. Hawkers. Yeah, don't be surprised if people don't pick you up if you don't go AoE. Because, you know, scouts, you're good, but probably you will level with your clan or your friends. They won't pick you up if you're like a stranger and they need a 10th. Most likely they pick an AoE character, unfortunately. So both goes for Raider, even though at Raider you can AoE, like I said. But scouts, yeah. Bourgs, dealers, great. Go Bourg if you want people to party with you and if you want to make a lot of money. But you're gonna fall off in PvP. So if you want a PvP, it's not the best character to go. And crafter, artisans, go for it if you want. If you want to vendor a lot of stuff, you want to merch people, you want to make money of like selling stuff to people, make buff bots necessary, just go for it, you know. Recommendation. That's it for today. If you like this video, make sure to subscribe and let me know. Let me know what you want next if you like these type of rambling videos. In the future, I will put up some more like visuals because this was just me talking, going through every page, and that's basically it. So yeah, have fun, enjoy the game, and see you on the 13th of December.